This is an ancient Roman slave collar, and it offers a reward to whoever returns its wearer. It shows that many slaves could be very valuable to their owners, although bear in mind, runaway slaves could be crucified if they were caught. The Roman Empire only really worked because of slavery. Slaves worked the fields, they cooked the food, and they worked as administrators, craftsmen, and even teachers. You see, despite their importance to the ancient Romans, slaves were merely just property. The 1st century BC scholar Marcus Terentius Varro said that a slave was merely a tool that could speak. Most slaves were captured as prisoners of war, and in the Roman Republic there was no shortage of slaves because the Romans were rarely at peace. So this meant that slaves regularly outnumbered free Roman citizens, and this did cause some problems because 3 times did slaves organise a major slave revolt. Spartacus, the ex-gladiator, was a slave, and his revolt is the most famous of them all. However, the influx of slaves did slow down a great deal during the Roman Empire because wars were becoming less common and they were actually becoming less one-sided. The Romans didn't do as well as they were used to. Interestingly, this led to slaves being treated slightly better. This isn't because the Romans suddenly decided that slaves had human rights, but they realised they were becoming a real precious resource that they had to protect and be less abusive towards. Some slaves, particularly the more learned ones, could be freed by their masters, and actually some slaves could save up the very small salary they received in order to pay for their own freedom. These freedmen, or liberti as they were known at the time, had very limited rights, but their children could become Roman citizens. So it is very common for very well-off people to have been ex-slaves, and to their children slavery was a distant ancestral memory. Interestingly, freedmen were very common in the imperial court, because as disloyal as they could be, they would always be an ex-slave, and everyone would remember that, and they could never really hope to any high office like a freeborn Roman citizen could achieve.